how are you? How's it been? It's been a bit. As you could tell, I have been sick and out of school for the past couple days. I did catch COVID, so it's been very weird. It's been I managed to make it the entire pandemic. Haven't caught COVID. Then I caught COVID, and I even teach with a mask. Like, so, I don't quite I'm just like, ugh, of course. Okay, jump into the future here. I recorded this entire tutorial and I had a little bit of trouble, so I had to ask my friend, and I was able to clear up the entire process. But I just want to let you know a little update on this entire project. Basically, because I haven't been here for basically, a week and 2 days, we're going to have to reduce the scope of this project if we're going to realistically finish it in time. Basically, let's see here. So basically, there are some new requirements for the project. Basically, all you need to do is have a modeled, textured, and decorated gingerbread person. You need to build, texture, and decorate out an environment, and then you need to light and render a still frame. So similar to the October creative assignment, optional elements here are to rig the character, to animate the character. I'm going to show you also how to do some snow effects if you're interested. We're just getting pretty crammed on time, and rigging a character can be challenging for those first time. So if you let's say you don't have if we don't have time to rig a character, we'll hit that in semester 2. Just let you know that the new requirements are you basically need to have a gingerbread person, an environment built out, and then you need to light your scene and then render out like a still frame. And if bonus round, get an animation in there. But if we're really slammed for time, at minimum, get a still frame rendered of your scene. Anyways, I'm still going to give you the tutorial on rigging. It's a pretty fun one. I'll give you kind of a heads up about what we're going to be doing in semester 2 for one of the projects. Anyways, let's dive right into how to rig a gingerbread character. Let's go. Okay, to kickstart this off, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any curve objects, which means like an object that's made by using add curve object, and then you added like some thickness like we did in the last tutorial, now is the time to convert those to mesh. We need to do that before we do anything. So I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to go object, convert to mesh, and then now if we go to edit mode, we can see that it's mesh instead of being a curve object. So a curve object, if I go to edit mode, look at that. It's now has these things, they're like editable tangents. There's these little control points on the curve that we can use to control them, versus something like when we go into edit mode on our gingerbread person, it's fully, it has mesh on it, so that's important to note. So let's go ahead and convert all these to mesh. Object, convert, mesh.
Object, convert, mesh. I'm gonna shift select them all. Object, convert to mesh. Cool. Nice.
I'm also going to apply the subdivision surface modifier that we have on this. It's smoothing it out. I'm just going to apply it. We do that by clicking on the little arrow. We hit apply. And this will add a little bit more geometry for us to use when we start rigging our gingerbread person. Okay, with all of our icing converted to a mesh, we are ready to go. So let's start rigging. But first, what is rigging? Well, so rigging is the process of, whenever you see something animated or moving around, or like maybe we're looking at my hand here, the reason why I can move my hand is because I have bones in my hand that, you know, have muscles attached to them, and then the muscles can pull on them, so my hand moves. So we modeled this gingerbread character. If we want it to move, we need to add bones to it to get it to move. So then basically, you know, we can then move a bone and then like maybe make the gingerbread person wave. So we are going to be adding a skeleton to our gingerbread person here, so then we can move it around. So we can move its arms, move its legs, move its head, you know. We use a process called rigging to basically add a skeleton to our character. So let's dive right in. Okay, special thanks to my friend Chris for helping me out on this tutorial. We're going to start out by adding in a just single bone. So in Blender, there's this object called an armature, and we can basically just add a single bone, and right now we have our bone. But first, to help us out a little bit, we're going to go into the object properties, and we're going to go to visibility, and we're going to hit viewport display, and we're going to hit show in front. That'll make it so it's easier for us to see. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to move this up, and I'm going to start showing you how to build a skeleton. So a bone has a few different parts to it. You can control one end, which will move it around, and you also have another end. This bone towards the middle of that, if you click on that, it'll control the entire bone. So let's go ahead and start building out the skeleton of this gingerbread person. Now, we actually don't need to go super into detail about how to build the skeleton. We're actually going to make a very simplified skeleton. So let's see. If I click on one of these, basically the ball here of the armature, and I hit E, then I can extrude another bone outside of this bone. So that's kind of cool. What's also cool is I can hit Shift D and I can duplicate a bone. So I can rotate this, and now we're gonna make an arm. And we're gonna be really simplistic here for a second, because all we have to do is think about, you know, where does the arm need to control? It just needs to kind of control right here. Kind of move this up a little bit. Then we're going to make one bone for the leg. So I'm going to click on this and hit Shift D. And then kind of put one of these right here. One of these right here. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude this out to control the foot. And now we have we have a foot here. Now, so what we're going to notice here is that if we go on the right side here, there's these bone properties. And there's all these different names. If we click on the bone properties tab, we can see that each one of them has a different name. We're going to go ahead and name them right now. So we're going to go to click on this one. Okay, that's the spine. So I'm going to call that the spine. This one's the head. This one is the left arm, so we're going to go call this one arm.L. And then this one, we're going to call this leg.L. That's the leg. This is the foot.L. And this is just to help us, you know, basically get these nice and labeled, because when we do symmetrize them, which will make him mirror them over, they'll automatically change them from L to right, L to R. It's kind of cool. Let's add a little bit more bone control in some of these areas. So I'm gonna right click, subdivide, and subdividing basically turns that one bone to two bone. But if we go down to the number of cuts tab right here, let's set that to 2. Now there's 3 bones. This will give us a little bit more control over the gingerbread person. And check that out. So that it even keeps our naming conventions, which is nice. Let's also do this one for the knee as well, or the leg. So I'm gonna subdivide. This one we just need one. That's that one leg cap. Cool. Oh, okay. From the side, I'm noticing that the skeleton isn't intersecting with our gingerbread person. So we have to make sure that this is all nice and intersection-y. So let's get this like this. Just kind of moving this in. Nice. Okay, so now our bones are inside the gingerbread mesh. This is very important. I'm also going to subdivide this one as well. So let's do this twice. Yeah, this will make it so our gingerbread person will be able to flex back and forth. I'm also going to move this one down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Sweet. Okay, so now we're going to like mirror them over because that will save us some time. Ooh, okay, let's also name this one the root bone. Root bone, that will be also really important. Okay, so now that we got all of our bones set up on one side, we're gonna mirror over this side. So I'm just gonna select all these bones, I'm gonna right click, and there's this thing called symmetrize. It's kind of cool. Bah! And bam, look at that. It just symmetrically moves those over. And check this out. It switches it over from leg to R. So now it even knows this is the right leg, which is just kind of cool. Okay, now we are ready to parent the mesh to the skeleton. So to do this, all we have to do is shift select the body of the gingerbread person and then the skeleton. So we select both of them. We hit Control P, and then we're gonna set the parent with automatic weights. Boop, and check this out. Let's go click on the skeleton and go into pose mode, and let's, look at that! The gingerbread person is waving. But you can tell our first problem is our objects don't go with it. Well, we're about to do that next. So, but let's just play around with this a little bit. It's kind of, maybe. When I move this one, I kind of want everything to move. So let's, in edit mode, let's go back to post mode. Go back to edit mode. Let's parent. So let's see. Let's shift select this thing and hit Control P. Keep offset. And then if this thing moves, this should move. Actually, let's shift select all of these. Shift select that. Control P. Keep offset. Now, let's see, shift select these, shift select that one, hit Control P, keep offset, shift select all of these, shift select that, hit Control P, keep offset, shift select all of these, shift select that, hit Control P, keep offset. Okay, let's try this now. Awesome. So, but it needs the rest of it. Well, we'll fix that in a second. Wait a minute. This is supposed to be connected. Oh, okay, hold on a second. We can fix this. Control P connected. Control P connected. Okay, that's connected. Okay, I also realized I forgot to do the legs. So let's go into edit mode, and we need to make sure that these bones are connected. So shift select that, Control P, connected. Shift select this, Control P, connected. And now this is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and select all of these right click, and then hit symmetrize, and now check that out. Now, if we go into pose mode, look at that, controls the whole leg. Rotate that, controls the foot. Control that, beep, boop, boop, boop. Okay, so now the icing the gumdrops needs to come with it. Let's dive right into that. Okay, let's go ahead and start with the gumdrops here. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go into edit mode of our skeleton, and we're going to have to create a bone for each gumdrop. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to take the root bone here, and I'm going to hit Shift D, RX90. That'll rotate it. And I'm just going to put it where the gumdrop is. Let's get that right there. We're going to put another one up a little bit. Shift D, up, move that one. Shift D, move that one up a little bit. And these bones are basically going to be just for our gumdrops. Real fast, I'm going to go ahead and shift select that, Control P, keep offset, and I'm just going to make sure these are parented to our root bone. So basically I just shift select one, I take a bone and I shift select the root bone and hit Control P, keep offset, it's already there. So shift select, Control P, keep offset. So now all these bones are parented to our root bone. Okay, now let's get the gumdrops to be controlled by this bone. Okay, so before I get these gumdrops to apply these bones, I'm gonna go ahead and go into edit mode on my skeleton, and I'm gonna name these gumdrop bones. I'm gonna call them gumdrop top, gumdrop middle, and then gumdrop bottom. Boom. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to object mode. We're going to select the gumdrop and then shift select the skeleton, hit Control P, and we're going to see armature deform with empty groups. So we're just going to click on that. And then I'm going to go shift select this gumdrop, shift select the skeleton, Control P, empty groups, shift select the skeleton. So hit the gumdrop, shift select the skeleton, hit Control P, empty groups. Okay, so I messed up a bunch of stuff for like the next 5 minutes. So let's just show you the right way to do this. So we're trying to get an object to be controlled by a bone. We made our bones, we labeled them, and now we're gonna try to say, hey, you, gumdrop. Yeah, you, I'm talking to you. I want you to be controlled by this bone right here. So what we gotta do, it's a very simple, complicated process. To get the gumdrop to be controlled by this bone, we need to go into edit mode of this gumdrop, and then we're going to actually use the power of these bones to basically tell it what it's going to control. So on the right here in this object data properties panel, we can actually see all these words, and these are actually all a bunch of basically it's actually what each bone controls. So like, for example, if I were to say, yes, gumdrop, I want you to be controlled by the right leg, doesn't make any sense. You'd select all the faces and hit assign, and then the gumdrop would be controlled by the right leg. We don't want it to be controlled by the right leg. We want it to be controlled by this gumdrop top bone we made. So all we have to do is select all the faces by hitting A, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit assign. Make sure, maybe just in case, if gumdrop middle, hit remove, and then gumdrop bottom, remove. Just so it doesn't accidentally get controlled by something else you don't want. We're gonna do that same process with the middle one. So if we do this again here, if I go into my gumdrop, I click on the gumdrop, I go into edit mode, which is usually what we use to model and model our gumdrops. We are going to say gumdrop middle. Okay, I want you, yes you, I want you to be controlled by the gumdrop middle bone. So I'm in my object data properties, this green little meshy thing, and say, okay, hey, you're going to be controlled by gumdrop middle, and hit assign. I'm going to hit remove from top and bottom, just in case. Then I'm going to do the same thing with you. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to select all the faces, and then I'm going to say, hey, I want you to be controlled by the gumdrop bottom bone. And hit assign. Cool. And make sure this weight value is 1. It should be by default, but just in case, just make sure that's 1. Hit assign. Okay, so now if we make sure our bones are properly, now if we go into, if I click on my skeleton, also make sure with each one of these gumdrops that the armature is above the particle system. So basically if I go into this modifiers tab, this is where, you'll see a bunch of things in here. Just make sure this is above. Blender likes to calculate like one thing at a time. And if this thing is beneath that thing, well, look what happens. It does something kind of funny. Let's see what happens. Look at that. It leaves a trail because it's calculating one thing before another. And all we got to do to fix that is go back into object mode of this gumdrop and then put the armature thingy above it. Now that we have this going, I'm going to click on the skeleton. I'm going to go into pose mode. Okay. Yes. It's working. Make sure that this bone is parented to here. So by going like shift select them both. Hit Control P. Parent to bone. And then I hit Control P. Oh wait, no, this is pose mode. We want to be in edit mode. Make sure in edit mode that each one of these bones is parented to the bone beneath it. So to do that, all you have to do is just shift select, hit Control P. It says keep offset. That's good. Shift select this to this, Control P, keep offset. I've already done it. And now all the bones are parented to their right areas. And we're going to go into pose mode and we're going to move this around. Okay, now we got to do the same thing for the icing. Okay, we got this. Okay, so let's review. To get something to be controlled by a bone, we need to first make a bone that kind of goes exactly where each object is. Let's do it. Let's do the face first, because let's just dive in. Go to edit mode. So we click on the skeleton, go into edit mode, and I'm gonna hit Shift D, RX 90. Boom, we're gonna scale it down. And we're gonna put it right in the center of the eye. Get that right there. Boom. We're gonna call this bone the left eye. So I sound like a pirate. I dot left? Is that left eye? Is that left eye? Yeah, dot L. Sweet. Awesome. That will control that thing. I'm gonna hold Shift D, and then oopsies, that's too much. Shift D, move that over. Let's see. We want this to be parented to the head. So I'm gonna hit Shift. We want both of these eyes to be parented to the head. So I'm going to parent that by shift selecting the head, hitting Control P, keep offset. And now it's parented to the head. Boop. Okay, now we're going to do one for the mouth. So Shift D, move that down. This is going to control the mouth. Awesome. So let's do this. So I am in object mode. Hello. We want you to be controlled by this bone. Like, okay, well, what does it take to do that? What we're going to do is we're going to shift select the object and then the bone. And then we are going to hit Control P with empty groups. Boop. Okay, so now this isn't being controlled by anything. Let's go into edit mode, and we need to say, now we go into edit mode the same way we did with the gumdrops, and we're gonna be looking for the eye. So, okay, first off, let's go ahead and label these bones a little bit better. I didn't label these bones very good, so let's just label them first. So I.L, I.R, and then this is gonna be our mouth. Okay, make sure to label those bones. It's really important. Object mode. And then we're gonna go say, hey, we're gonna go into edit mode of this object, and we're gonna say, hey, I want you to be controlled by this bone right here. And that is, what's that? That's the left eye? Yeah, that is the left eye. I go I.IL and I hit assign. So now, if I move this head in pose mode, yes, it works. Okay, we got this. Let's bring it in. So we are going to go in. We're going to click, go back to object mode, and we're going to click on this little ring here. We're going to go into edit mode, and we'll say, hey, you. Yeah, I want you to be controlled by the left or right eye. So let's go. Oh wait, we forgot to parent it to the skeleton first. We need to do that first. So before we do that, we need to shift select the skeleton, hit Control P, empty groups, boop. Now it's parented to the skeleton, but the skeleton doesn't know how to control it yet. Now we need to tell it how to control it. Let's go into edit mode of, let's click on the eye icing. Let's go into edit mode. We'll hit A. So now all the faces are selected, and we want you to be controlled by this, and that is the eye left right. So we want the I.R, and we hit assign. So now this should be being controlled by this here bone. Let's see if it worked. Yes, okay, we got it. Okay, let's do the mouth now. Okay, first step. Parent the object to the skeleton. Okay, step 1. Parent the object to the skeleton. Shift select. Shift select the object, then the skeleton, then hit Control P. Then say armature deform with empty groups. Now we need to tell the map, basically it's parented to the skeleton, but the problem is it doesn't know how to control it. So we are going to go in, we're going to click on the mouth, and we're going to say, hey, you mouth, I want you to be controlled by this mouth bone. So let's go let's select all the faces, and let's go look for that mouth bone. Mouth bone, mouth bone, mouth bone, there you are. And say, hey, you, I want you to be controlled by the mouth bone. Bah! And then we go back to pose mode. Let's see if this worked. Pose mode. Yes, it's working. Awesome. And it's even cool if you actually click on these bones and check that out. It starts to be able to control it. Okay, last 4. Let's do this thing. Let's bring it home. All right, speed run it. Okay, so we need to make a bone right here. We're gonna go into edit mode. I'm going to shift D, RX90. Actually, RZ90. Let's just get this to work. Just trying to get this to work. I'm gonna scale it down a little bit. It doesn't need to be too crazy. Okay, boom. We got this one. And let's do this one as well. Okay, first off, let's name this. So this is was it? That's left arm icing, left hand. Icing.l.hand. Beautiful. Okay, let's also do this one while we're at it. This one's going to be the foot icing, the one that goes right here. So we're gonna hit Shift-D, RZ, 90. Let's do -90. -90. Boom. Okay, we got this. We got this. Okay. Put this right here. Yes, we're gonna put this right over the icing. Okay, there we go. Okay. And we're gonna shift select both of these. So actually let's first off name this one properly. Foot.l.icing. And this is what was this bone name? Arm.l. Let's name this one the same thing. Arm.l. Let's name this one. Okay, let's name this one arm.l.icing. So just trying to keep everything in the same. Icing. And this is foot.l.icing. Okay, I'm gonna shift select both of these bones. I'm gonna right click and hit symmetrize. Where did they symmetry properly? They didn't for some reason. That's very strange. Let's undo it. Oh, whatever. It doesn't take that long. Select both these bones. Shift. Shift-D. Move them over. Oh, I get it. They don't properly. Yeah, I get it. I'm just disappointed. Here. And we're gonna try to make this. Right now these are parented to the wrong thing, so I'm just gonna clear their parents. Because I want these to be parented to here. So I'm just gonna go shift select this and hit Control P, keep offset. And then I'm gonna take this bone up here and I'm gonna say, okay, you need to be parented to this. Control P, keep offset. And now these bones will properly be parented to their correct areas. So, okay, we did the mouth. Let's finish it up. Let's finish it. Okay, first off, before we finish it, I want to change this to R. So then we know exactly what we're looking at here. R.icing. Okay, let's do this. We're so close to getting this done. It is fun. Yeah, it's pretty complicated, not gonna lie. It took me a few times to get this right. So, we are going to get this thing to be controlled by that. First off, we're gonna hit shift select this. We're gonna hit Control P, empty weights, or empty groups. And do the same thing with this. Shift select that to the skeleton, Control P, empty groups. Same thing with this. Select the icing, select the skeleton, hit Control P, empty groups. Icing to skeleton, Control P, empty groups. Boom, bang, bam. Now, okay, we've done this before. We got this. We go into edit mode. We select all the faces and we say, hey, you, I want you to be controlled by the left icing bone. I go to here and I say, okay, we're looking for arm left icing. And we're gonna hit assign. Okay, so now this should be able to be controlled by the icing bone. Let's go. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep it going. Select all the faces and say, okay, this needs to be the left foot icing. So that's the left foot here. Left foot icing. So we hit assign. Boom. Okay, we got this. Last two. Let's do it. Go into edit mode. Say, hey, I want you need to be controlled by the right foot icing. So I'm gonna hit assign. Now I go into edit mode. I select all the faces of this one, and this is the right hand icing. So let's go into arm right icing, hit assign. Okay, this should be it. It should work. Let's see if it works. Let's click on this skeleton. Let's go into pose mode. Yeah, there we go. It works. Yeah, it only took a while. You know, it's challenging. It's challenging. I'm not gonna. No lying, it can be very challenging. But if you made it this far, you now have a pretty riggable gingerbread person that you can pose around. You can move it around. We can add keyframes. So if I go to the timeline here, and I can say insert keyframe, insert location rotation keyframe, and I move forward a little bit, and then I move its head, and say insert rotation keyframe, and then check this out. It turns his head. It's gonna do big things, I can tell. Anyways, thank you so much for sitting through this. I'm sure you'll have questions. I'll be there on Monday. I look forward to seeing you. It's been a long time. Once again, this is an optional. Part of the assignment. It's pretty difficult, but to some people they might be interested in doing it, and I thought I'd give people the opportunity. We are on a pretty quick schedule right now, so I'm just I'll put it all in writing on how the assignment's getting kind of optimized down for time, but I'm very excited to see what you all make.